and welcome everyone. Welcome to the webinar series presented by UniApply. I am Ritesh Chawla and I will moderate the session today. Before I start this session, I would like to introduce about UniApply. UniApply is a school admission app where parents can explore, discover the school, and they can, in fact, after discovering, they can apply for the school of their desire, choice, and they can basically take the admission. So UniApply basically ease out the entire journey of a parent. And in this reimagine, we bring the eminent panelists from the different schools. So today we have principals from schools of Ghaziabad. So in this webinar today, we are going to discuss an important topic, back to school, decoding the admission process for the schools in Ghaziabad. So today we have, I would like to now introduce my panelists today. So we have today Dr. Anurup Kaur, Principal of Bharatram Global School, Indrapuram, Ghaziabad. Ma'am is joining shortly with us. We have Ms. Nandini Shekhar. She's the Principal with DPS HRIT Ghaziabad. And we have Ms. Indu Sharma, Principal, Sundardeep World School, Dasna, Ghaziabad. So I will quickly welcome all my panelists. Welcome Indu ma'am. Welcome Nandini ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Right. So as you know, ma'am, that we are going to discuss a very important topic today, back to school. We have seen last 23 months, approx 2 years, they were very tough. In fact, when we talk about, there was a lot lockdown situation. School coped up really well when it comes to online education delivery. Now school are reopening and you are bringing back student to school, and there are a lot of challenges in the entire process. So we are in fact going to discuss that and how schools are coping up with this situation. We want our audience to know so that they feel more confident, so that they can send their wards to school and situation comes to complete normal. And of course, those parents who are the prospective parents of school, they are looking forward the admission, they feel also confident while deciding for admission and sending their wards to school. So without taking much of time, we will go to our agenda for today, and I'll start asking question, and I'll go to Indu ma'am first. So ma'am, there's very important question, like of course we are topic of today is back to school. So there are, that there are operational challenges when it comes to physical school, because schools were closed and building was shut down for almost 2 years, right? So is your school now fully operational for physical classes, or you are still in a hybrid mode, or you are still in a complete online mode? So how your school is dealing with this situation, ma'am?
Thank you, Ritesh. Yes, the school is back to normal. All the students are coming to the school. We have stopped online teaching because once you keep on giving this option, they keep on taking, because it has become a habit rather than easy way out.
Right.
To sit at home. To my surprise, parents are more than happy to send the children, especially the junior section. We were little apprehensive. Will the parents be sending the tiny toddlers to the school early in the morning? Because the children were not used to, especially up to class 1, they had never been to the school. But 100% strength, day 1 when we reopened the school, we witnessed 100% strength. That was a very good indication, right, that parents are willing to send their children to the school, and they are looking forward that the children learn in the school with their peer group and go out, play, learn many other things other than just academics. Online teaching was good, but offline is always better, and we are totally into offline mode now.
Right. So that's good that you are completely into offline mode, but I'm sure those who are there in the complete practice of online, right, parents, they must have moved back to their hometowns. They must be working from there. So we'll bring such question. In fact, so quickly, I'll go to Nandini ma'am and I'll ask uh, a question to Nandini ma'am. Ma'am, reopening the school means many new start, right? And starting from ensuring that everything is in working tandem in school, and from buses to routines to classroom to teachers to washroom and the garden area, and everything needs to be functional when it comes to reopening the school, because in the online the operational structure can be put on hold. And if two things are not working, that is really okay, because student are finally they are sitting at home. So after a long gap, how challenging it was for a school to ensure that all these services are in place, and how you are ensuring these services are in place and student don't face any issue.
First of all, thank you, Ritesh, for giving us this platform. And what I feel and what is most important is that anything that, suppose a school is there, it is a structure in itself with all the amenities and the well laid out plans and processes.
Right.
So, and in between also, you must have seen the schools were opening and closing. So
Right.
schools have actually not closed because the admin is coming, some support staff is there, this and the planning is there. Most important is that we all were looking forward and gearing ourselves and were mentally planning. Mentally, we were all planning to open up the schools. And secondly, there was a level of enthusiasm which was there. And that enthusiasm which was within us,
Right.
just set all the parameters in the right perspective.
Right.
Because school being closed, open, the only thing that need to be worked on is the teachers. I think from last 3-4 months, the teachers are also coming to school.
Right.
And everybody wants to change, because any setup which is there for more than 2 years,
Right.
naturally everybody was looking forward, and that set the ball rolling. And
Right.
that actually brought the school to a forefront where everything was done in a most pleasant, enthusiastic, proactive, and with a growth mindset.
Right.
So that was one thing which I felt. And another thing is that only thing we need to be proactive with the parents, that mentally prepare them. Because if the parents are prepared, naturally half of the battle is won. So
Right.
we had started preparing the parents that this is what we are going to do. Now the schools will be offline. So you need to, and we have sent them the Google Forms also. And then we said it has become mandatory now. So you
Right.
have to be a part of this system, and children have to come offline. So they were also mentally pacified, and the only problem that comes is with the buses. So
Right.
that was sorted out. That was sorted out, and we had started sending the messages to the parents that the bus facility will be there, and you have to say yes or no, because bus going to a stop without picking up the child doesn't make any sense. So if your child is coming, so we were liberal in the with the fee structure, and we were also liberal with the 3-4 days and all that, because we wanted children. The most important task was for all of us was to bring the children back to school.
Right.
Once they are back to school, then the kind of environment that they witness and they see the days they have forgotten, then there is no looking back, and they want to come again and again to the school.
Right. So, ma'am, in fact, one thing still I would like to, you to focus on and tell our audience, right? Of course, parents are sending back their kids to the school now, right? And they also want, in a large number, parents are giving consent. Like you rightly said, even in the previous webinars, we learned from the principals and the leaders that the younger parents with the younger kid, they are keen to send their wards, right? But bringing such crowd to a school and looking at the pandemic is still active, right? It is not end, right? The situation is on. So how school ensure with the sanitization and because it's a gathering, right? So how you ensure the safety and the other measures when I asked you about the garden area and other sports activity, how do you ensure that the maximum precaution is taken care for the kids?
Everything that we need to do, first we need to plan it in a very strategic manner.
Right.
Suppose, because it is a risk for us, for the teachers and for the students, most importantly for the students.
Right.
And actually the parents are very much concerned. Like parents, we too are concerned about the children. So what we did is that we just divided the children and we made more sections.
Okay.
That was first thing that we did, because we wanted less children to sit in class with open windows. And we had made it compulsory that in morning time for 30 minutes, it will be an exercise for all the children. And I included more of games period for each class, because it is not that we have to just take them to table and chair and make them study. No, my idea was that let them feel the school, let them get infected by the kind of environment the school provides. So that kind of environment, when it is provided to the children, they feel happy. And a lot of laughter techniques, yoga, everything was, we are doing it, and we ensure that proper sanitization is there. We ensure the children are wearing the mask. If any child is without a mask, we give the mask from our side. And even we keep on educating them.
Right.
Although children do forget, they do forget after some time, because when they are with their peer group, they want to come closer. But at the same time, that should be in the open, not in the classrooms. Classrooms, you have to be. And the school, all the schools have got big grounds.
Right.
So the scattering of the children can be done, and they can be educated, they can be made aware, they can be given tasks, and it is not necessarily only book, paper, pencil has to be there. There are so many other ways where you can involve children and bring them to school.
Right.
So
So,
we planned out everything, and because we ourselves were very much apprehensive that what if something happens, then what will be the result. So to
right.
avoid that kind of calamity or something like that, we just try to just plan out in a most appropriate manner for our children, for our teachers, and for everybody who is connected to this.
Right. So, ma'am, like you mentioned that younger kids are more interested to come, and parents are sending more. So, I'll have my next question for Indu, ma'am, with respect to this. So, ma'am, what are the some of the unique challenges that children are facing this year as they head back to school across classes, starting from primary to secondary and the senior secondary?
I think the biggest challenge is uh, currently is getting up early in the morning, because I personally feel even the mothers are not used to that routine where they pack the tiffins and send the children to the school by 7:30, 7:15 at the bus stop. So one of this was the major challenge when we reopened. Overall, in the year, as ma'am said, schools have been opening and closing. We open the school and then again shut down. And once our mindset is completely set, like the January lockdown was totally uncalled for. We were totally unprepared.
Right.
December, the classes were running smoothly, and we had sent back the children on for a winter break, telling them that we'll be back again. And suddenly there was a notice. So
Right.
challenge is the mindset,
Right.
and we cannot prepare them for a certain future that, okay, now we are telling the parents that next session onwards it's going to be proper offline teaching, but somewhere inside even we are not very clear, because things change drastically within a week or 10 days. So
Right.
biggest challenge is the mindset. Even the children, parents, teachers, everybody is uncertain what
Right.
the future will be. So that is one challenge. Second is writing. I thought writing, I came across, even though we were giving them written work from home,
Right.
they were writing, but when they came back, first thing which I noticed, children were not, senior children even, forget about nursery, KG, first, second, senior children were not able to write in a
Right.
speed. So my instruction was to start with de-addicting them. So
Right.
de-addiction first process was to close all the smart boards. We will not open smart boards. We will not use them and make them write, read books, go out in sun, take a lot of vitamin D, let them play as at least half an hour, 45 minutes. Each class will go definitely. And apart from that, if needed, again the class can go. So
Right.
these were the challenges students were facing. And yes, one major was interacting with the peer group. Most of the students have left the school. When they came back, they realized their friends have moved to some other city, their native places, and there were many
Right.
new friends.
Right.
Online mode mein, they were not able to interact that very well. So meeting people, meeting teachers, many teachers they were meeting for the first time. So that mindset, I'm going to the school and meeting all my friends, she is going to be my teacher. This whole scenario was little different. In our
Right.
times, when we used to go to school after summer break, that was
Right.
the longest break ever. So we were prepared that even though it was a no WhatsApp and no social media time, but we were prepared. We will get these 40 students. These
Right.
will be our teachers. So
Right.
when they came back after every 2-3 months, they come back, they come across a new set of people,
Right.
especially children. Then they realize many of their friends, they might be taking online classes, but they have basically left the school. They are
Right.
not ready to come on offline because they have moved to their native places. So
Right.
that
In fact,
there are
let's come
certain.
to this question, ma'am. This is very important thing which you have mentioned that a lot many people have moved back to their native places, right? But here I would just like to interject and you mentioned about the writing, so I'll pick up this word, right? Writing has become now a problem for student because they were in a practice of a digital classroom
Yeah,
and they
typing.
were giving the exam on Google Forms or let's say a Google quiz, right? So, do you see a hesitation among the parents or the kids, especially from the middle and the senior section, to come back to school and write the exam? So,
The
what is your view?
senior section is 100% ready to come to the school. 9, 10th, 11th, 12th, you call them and they all come. There is no issue.
Right,
Middle school, yes, we do face problem, but basic challenge is from primary. Middle schoolers are looking forward to come to school. Every time you reopen the school, they also read the circular that hopefully government has said 6 to 12.
right,
Because 9 to 12 reopening is very normal. So every time parents used to ask, is this open for 6 to 12th also, 6 to
right,
8th also? So middle schoolers were keen. They were ready to come back to the school because they have to study a lot. Middle wing is the most active, and they are the upcoming teenagers. So they want to come to the school to channelize their energies in various ways. So, but yes, making them write and giving them projects to work together as a team. We started with all those things so that at least their writing skills enhance. They're able to work in a group together so as to interact more with their peer groups. These were the things. Biggest challenge still remains the primary children,
right,
where the challenge is not with the children but with the parents. Let me tell
right,
you,
right,
kids are ready to come. बच्चे
right,
आना चाहते हैं, they want to come. It's the parents. Just before the meeting, this webinar, I had a parent from class 1. They were saying we won't send the child for another 1 month. We will send the child directly in class 2. So I had a tough time convincing them that do send the child, and it's going to be a good time for the child. So they will be sending tomorrow onwards. So that counseling is needed for primary children basically.
right, right. So I'll quickly take the view of Nandini ma'am on the same question, ma'am. Do you see the hesitation in your school when it comes to writing the exam by the middle section or the senior section? Because probably they were studying online, they were not expecting a sudden, a circular that school will open, and for the whole year they haven't appeared for any offline exam, and now they have to go to the school and write the offline exam. There are apprehension of performing good or performing bad. So what is your view, ma'am? What do you see in your school? What kind of situation is there?
Actually, the children have moved away from a routine
Right,
and they were into a completely different setup. Now they have got adjusted to that kind of a setup, and we are trying to bring them back to the previous setup. So
right,
naturally, children will take some time to adapt, and a lot of learning gaps have been created during this time
right,
because physical classroom has its own aroma. It has got its own kind of a infectious energy
right,
which is missing out in the online. The teachers are making hell of an effort. They are giving PPTs, they are explaining in the best of their capability and capacities, but still, the kind of a touch, the emotional touch, the kind of a mental reach out to the students and seeing whether the children are writing or not, that constant monitoring has actually played a very bad game,
right,
which was a part of the school, and now it is not there. During the pandemic it was not there
right,
because we don't know what they are doing in the other side. If they are in front of us, we can monitor them in the best possible manner, and children are very smart. They
right,
know how to take their parents for a ride. They
right,
know how to do that. So that is one of the reasons that this kind of a situation has been created.
right,
But the learning gaps which have come up, our first job is to bridge those learning gaps
right,
as stakeholders, and with the support of the parents and the students, with the in the pivot or in the center, whatever has been left behind. It is not about completing the curriculum. It is not about going fast with anything. We can just stop where it is, and we can mend whatever has been deconstructed during this time. So writing is one of them. So
Right.
writing, what children can do is that we can give them impromptu kind of writing, which is interesting for them.
Right.
Because right now they are finding it very difficult to copy things. You give them, during this pandemic also, when I used to go for their online classes, I always motivated them on two things, reading and writing.
Right.
That send a letter to me, write down a particular how did you like the assembly, write 2 lines and send it to me. So
Right.
writing, we had been trying the children don't miss out on writing, because with writing, if they miss out on writing, they miss out on the sentence construction, they miss out on the spellings, they miss out on the expression of the and the language. So
Right.
it is, writing is one thing, but it has got so many things attached to it. And all of those things get hampered if the children are not writing.
Right.
And writing is something which is a part of their lazy bone also. They think that we'll do it. Mentally we'll plan out. Mentally hum kar lenge. But only thing is, unless there is a coordination between a mind and a hand, things
Right.
cannot be done in the right manner.
Right.
Whatever you are thinking, are you able to put that with that kind of a speed on a piece of a paper? There is where I told my class 12Ps and 10th students that if you are negligent right now, will not be suffering. You will be only suffering during exam time, when you know the content, but you are unable to write it. So make it a point that you have to do writing, and while even learning also, you should write and do it, and try to make your calligraphy and other things we can use to motivate them. So the writing has been a major issue with all of us, because today only I faced a parent who was saying, "Ma'am, my child is only writing. When will he learn?" When it was the time for writing for him, then there was negligence. So he should be penalized for whatever he has done. And during the pandemic also, we asked the children, parents, to deposit the notebooks on Friday and on Tuesday to take them back from us, so
Right.
that teachers can check it. So that constant endeavor has been there. But despite that also, there were certain lacunas which we are still facing, and children have somewhat think that their typewritten or whatever they are typing or on computer, they are much faster than what they are writing. And their
Right.
writing has become horrible during this. No full stop, no punctuation, nothing. And it is a Herculean task for the teacher to check the work they have done. So
Right.
it will be only like whatever pandemic, whatever pitfalls were created by the pandemic, that needs to be fixed up by us at the earliest. Then only we can have a smooth sailing. Otherwise, the sailing will not be smooth. That I think Indu ma'am will agree with
Yeah,
me. We'll have to
definitely.
do it. Otherwise,
Right.
things will not be as they seem to be.
Reworking is
And
very
by
tough.
the end of the day, the parent wants the children to do well.
Right. In fact, from both of you, I could sense actually that, like Indu ma'am mentioned, that she counseled a parent, for sending a ward class 1 kid to the school, so that the situation can be a normal situation for that kid, and he can be in a practice before he gets into the next academic session, which I could get from the ma'am say. In fact, you also mentioned about that you were counseling the parent. So, on this, I have next question for you, Nandini ma'am. That we know that parents play a vital role when it comes to the students or the kids education, because of course if kid is spending 6 hours to the school and rest of time he's spending either with the parents or in home, right? So ma'am, like what can the parent do to make the transition easy for their children? What are some other things that parent can do to prepare children for back to school, right? Because of course there is a hesitation from the middle one or the senior secondary kids that they don't want to go to school. So what do you think that what a parent can do to motivate their kids to go back to school?
See, actually, parents need to be motivated. Children are ready to come to school.
Okay.
Parents, actually, I tell you, some of the parents are doctors. They
Okay.
have seen the kind of a chaos that has been created.
Right.
So that kind of a fear is there. Something has happened in the family which has created fear in the minds of the parents.
Right.
And it takes time. Any incident that happens takes some time to get de-imprinted. It gets imprinted somewhere, and
Right.
for a parent, there is nobody else important as his or her child.
Right.
Child is the most important asset for the parent. So first of all, this pandemic, this virus, coronavirus or COVID or whatever different names we keep on giving it, it is going to stay with us. We will have to brace it up. This fact is a fact. And how long can we run away from here? We cannot.
Right.
So the best thing is take all the precautions, keep all the protocols, develop on the physical and mental and emotional health of the children, and with a positive frame of mind, take teachers in confidence, come to school, look at the structure of the school, find out whether anything that is of your concern. If you are satisfied, you should send your children to school.
Right.
Because staying at home of students is even more harmful.
Right.
You never know that now the parents have started working. They are going to their offices, or mother is busy now because the online has been taken a back seat. So
Right.
naturally, you don't know what, if the children are at home, empty mind is devil's workshop. This is a very famous saying. So what children are doing at home, you have already provided them the best of androids and everything. Where their mind is working, what are they doing, how to channelize that? Are we capable enough to keep a tap on our children 24 hours a day? No, we are not. So we have to involve them somewhere. Otherwise also, if I'm going home and I'm meeting 100 people in a day and going home, I'm carrying some infection with me. So
Right.
that way, parents are also going out and coming inside the house, and children are strong enough. They have a better immunity. They can do a lot of physical activity.
Right.
They can do some breathing exercises. We make yoga, and they see these infections. Everything. It is also now one of the infections only. So now parents will have to just think over, decide, and if COVID is there, if flu is there, anything, it has to happen once. So now the attack of COVID is minor. So, and we are taking all precautions. The parents should take all precautions and send the children to school so that they can be worked on, and they can be fruitful in their studies. That is
Right.
the most important thing for
Right.
us.
So we have another practical issue that I would like to raise to Indu ma'am, and I would like her to answer this question. That ma'am, you know that many parents living in cities like Ghaziabad, right? Since you both are from the Ghaziabad schools and leading those schools, right? So in fact, we have come across such situation in Gurgaon, Noida, and but we'll specifically talk about Ghaziabad. So parents have moved back to their hometowns, right? And their children are attending online classes so far.
Mm.
So how will school manage the hybrid mode of studies, or do you advise them to come back to the cities so that they can attend and they can back to school and attend the physical classes? So ma'am, what is your take in the ma'am?
The parents who move to the native places or some villages or wherever they wish to, basically they went back to joint family structure. Let me tell
Right.
you, uh, the families which shifted back to their native places with their parents, I mean, complete joint, was the major reason was the loss of job.
Right.
When the father or the mother, they lost their jobs and they decided not to pay the rent of those apartments unnecessarily and the electricity bill separately, so they decided to move with their in-laws and parents, so
Right.
that a family lives together, and in the time of crisis they are together with each other. So because the nation has seen worst phase in wave 2,
Right.
and even in wave one, many parents have moved back. In during wave
Mm.
one, they moved back because of the loss of jobs.
So,
That time we had a major economical crisis. Wave two, most of the children I saw that I observed that they moved back to their native places because of the crisis in the family. Somebody falling sick, and they have to be there to take care, or some kind of un, not a good scenario.
right.
Now the jobs are back, and by the grace of God, this third wave, so-called third wave, is not so disastrous. Parents are coming back. We are
Right.
giving them time, and by December, most of the parents were already back with us.
Right.
Third wave, none of them have moved to the native cities, I have seen. They all were waiting for the schools. They all had an anticipation that in February the schools will open. We all had uh, in our mind that after UP elections, the school, Ghaziabad had election on 10th of February. So
Okay.
before we could announce it formally, the parents were very clear about it. After elections, the school will reopen. And that worked because government allowed us to reopen the school from 14th of the February. That was after 4 days after the elections. So the challenge which we faced during wave one, wave two is now easing it out. We are now
Right.
back to normal. Yeah, few have decided to settle there. And there were certain cases where the parents have found job in different cities.
Right.
We are giving them support because the child is enrolled with us now.
Right.
And we can't disown the child saying, since your child is not coming to the school, we won't test the child or we won't promote the child. We all understand the situation. So there are a couple of cases, rather more than that, in our school where the parents, they first left for their native places.
Right.
Then they either they started with their family business or found a job then there itself.
Right.
They came in touch with us when the schools reopened in September, October,
Okay.
that they are not in a position to come back.
Right.
And being our child, our own child, we could never disown. So we are giving them online support. But yes, we are providing them with the material, content, evening classes. They are connected with the teachers. Saturdays, we hold special classes for them and
Right.
make sure the child is in sync with what's going on in the class. But since the number is too less,
Right.
there are not too many children opting for this. We are not opting for hybrid classes. We are giving them parallel support, which enables the child to learn, which enables the child to appear for the exams. And I keep on telling them exam is no parameter to judge the uh,
Right.
capability of the child. So don't
Right.
worry that if child has given PA3, PA4, whatever, even if the child is not giving, it's okay. But yes, parents do insist. So we do that. We do that for a certain set of parents, those who have moved back. So we want them to finish off their child's academic session smoothly without any hindrance. So we are providing them that support because we also nobody knows, as I said, what future holds. So let's all pray that this goes away with this wave only. But
Right.
again, God forbids another online session comes, then those parents will remain connected with us. But we don't want that wave to come or we going back to our homes. But yes, we are providing support to the parents. They are in touch with us. We are evaluating them. We are making sure that the children complete their projects on time. Whatever the teachers are doing in the class, they participate and
Right.
they are actively with us. Though even though we have a different policy for them, basically.
Right.
We want
So very
them.
well, you have answered this question, Indu ma'am. In fact, we all know and we all have seen the financial or the human life loss in the close knit circle, or let's say the extended circle, right? So parents have lost job, their relatives or their close ones, and this came like now situation is coming back to normal. And of course, you as a school leaders are in fact trying your best to be in a normal situation where parents are also motivated. Like ma'am said, kids are motivated. Now we have to work on the parents to
Yeah.
basically make them and feel them that okay, this is important. Now you send your kids to
See,
back to
parents are
school.
only apprehensive because they have seen tragedies at home.
Right. Right.
They have
Agree.
seen. And even if it's your close blood relation or somebody in the neighborhood or relatives, friends, nobody, uh, that's a human nature.
Right.
Whenever there is a risk factor, we all save our children from any kind of risk. We all are ready to face the risk ourselves. We have been coming.
Right.
My school had been office has been open throughout all the ways and all the phases. I have been coming, but yes, the heartbeat lies on the children. So parents are very apprehensive, especially the ones who are doctors, as ma'am said. I've seen my doctor parents still not sending the children because they have seen the things very closely and they don't want their children to be affected by it. And that's very normal. We have to understand. You
Right.
cannot be rigid. You cannot be at this
Actually,
point.
they were the direct spectators.
Yes,
Exactly.
yes.
So that fear is there. The fear of losing is there,
So they have
and which
actually
is very natural.
That is
closely
natural, and we have to
experienced the
support
entire
them.
thing, right? The entire health system they have seen, and they have seen their own and the other people going, because of this COVID. So, ma'am, like,
Another aspect of, sorry, Ritesh, I'm interfering. Another aspect, the reason why doctor parents are not sending the children, because they say, my own child might be the carrier when rest of the school is not.
right,
Because we come across so many patients during the day, and generally in doctor families, we see both mother and father, both the
Both
parents
are
as
working.
doctors.
right,
And to me, the parents, when I tell them that the child will be safe here, we are following all, they say it's not about you, it's about us. We meet hundreds of people per day. We take rounds in the open general ward. Our child might be the carrier. The
right.
carrier child may not suffer, but he may give it to others.
Others.
So that is one very humane aspect which I have seen in doctor parents. They are not sending the children because they feel that they have been exposed
Right.
largely, and they don't want their children to come in contact with many other children.
Right, right. So, ma'am, like I was coming to that point where you both mentioned that you are going extra mile to help parents, and those parents who are there. We were discussing on this point that those parents who are there in their hometown, or let's suppose they have found a job elsewhere than cities like Ghaziabad, and you are helping their kids and those parents to support them rather than telling them a straightforward no, okay, we can't help since you have moved out or your kid is not coming. So of course, that way, like Nandini ma'am also mentioned that they are doing some extra things to support parent, and your school is also doing so. Don't you think so? This makes more burden. So this question is for Nandini ma'am again. That this makes teacher more burdened, whether you talk about the hybrid class or just giving a classroom delivery, and after that you have to support other way also, right? Probably making videos, sending them, helping them with the content. So, do you think that this time has burdened teachers more than the usual time, or because earlier they were completely offline, then even during the lockdown time, they were completely online, and now there's a situation when they have to play on both the modes, right? So, we generally feel that there's a burden situation. So, how, as a leader, you are tackling it, and how practical this problem is?
First of all, the teachers. I would like to answer about the teachers. During these times, no, teachers have done a Herculean job.
Right,
They all of them have gone out of their comfort zone. There was a situation that we all did not know what online teaching is, and within a week's time or 10 or 12 days, we all geared ourselves up, and there was no day, or it was 24 by 7 that we tried to solve out the situation.
right,
During online classes also, the teachers were not working according to the timetable schedule. They were working much beyond the timings. There was no time for them because some of the parents were asking in the evening. There was question. There was a lot of, because anything which you are doing in the class and you are doing on online, there are a lot of things which are left unsolved. Now that
right,
it becomes teacher's duty to complete that work
right,
because she feels responsible for it. So due to this feeling of getting being responsible and taking the ownership of our students, they themselves say, ma'am, this child has shifted to this place and the father is there only because right now he has not got a job, but he's trying his job somewhere in Gurgaon or some other place, wherever.
right,
And so what should we do? So I tell them that first you suggest what you want to do. Well, ma'am, I want to help. So this is coming from them.
right,
They are proactive enough to help the students because they want them to complete their session. See,
mhm,
whether after this session the child is going to stay with us or not, that is a secondary issue. The
Material.
most important issue is that 1 year of child should not go waste.
right,
And it is not about percentage, whether child is getting 90% or whatever. Then if the child is learning and if the child is coming for online classes, and it is guidance.
right,
You can guide in 45 minutes and you can give the same guidance in 20 minutes also,
right,
because here you are handling only handful of children. So
right,
the teachers were smart enough, they are sharing their work through WhatsApp. WhatsApp is something which is very easy, and it is helping the teachers a lot. So whatever they are doing in the class, on and off, they are sending it to the child also. At times, if they are doing some discussion, they just switch on their Microsoft and they start discussing on that. The child is also viewing that. Suppose some interesting topic is, suppose show and tell is going on in the class today, and we want the child to be a part of it, or we want the child to see it. So the teacher is switching it on. Maybe she's not there, but for the child, everything is visible, what is happening. So this is a technique which we are using. We are using Microsoft side by side for the child. Maybe the teacher's interaction face to face is not there, but child, it is more of audio. So that audio is helping the child. And at this time, the parents also support. So we don't want the children to suffer in any way, because any kind of a suffering leaves a mark on the mind, which we don't want. We want the children to be happy. We want the children to be embracing whatever situation was. Just think as a good chapter of life, when they stayed with their parents, they had great bondages with the bond with the parents, or they enjoyed cooking with the mother, or they stayed at home and they had a relaxed evening, or whatever. They had a chit chat with grandparents where they were so busy not to do it. So this, we want them to remind this, create a memory of this time as a happy memory, not a sad memory. This should be with all of us, because any kind of a sadness always creates a gap in us. So if we can convert the same situation in a positive and happy situation, that we are, like when the schools opened, our teachers told the students, you really enjoyed with your parents, you had fun time, what did you cook, how did you eat, you all have become, you have grown up, you have become taller, you are. So what happens, the child doesn't feel dejected, he feels happy. That, and happiness is something which we need to give the children of today, because the situation around the environment is very sad. So somewhere the happiness is to be created. Either it will be created by the parents, Baba Dadi, or by the teacher. So teacher should do her job. The family is doing theirs. They are sensitive enough to make their children happy. So they will always guide them. This is the situation, tomorrow it will be a better day. But teacher also need to take up that task. So I feel the teachers have done a wonderful job during this time. They did not think about anything. It was their children and the class which was in the forefront of their thinking. And nothing can be achieved unless we work in tandem. We are in unison. So we all had a kind of a unity amongst ourselves to sail through these tough times. And which I think all the schools and all the principals, everybody has done a great job in that.
So in fact, this shows that teachers and the leaders, especially, the principals of the school, they have worked really hard to bridge the learning gaps. And of course, you bridge that gap also by providing providing education by all mediums, like ma'am mentioned, Nandini ma'am, that teachers were sending content on WhatsApp, and probably the Microsoft using other technological tools, or maybe creating Google Forms, and the students were taught and they were also evaluated, right? The evaluation was also one of the key thing which suddenly we realized during the first lockdown, that evaluation is also important if students are studying online. So this is one thing, but another part is very crucial and important, ma'am. And while I personally experienced while addressing a series of webinar, right, with the parents, where I was interacting with the parents, where we as UniApply address parent that how to go about the admission process and all. And we came across a very common question, which I'm going to ask to Indu ma'am, that, ma'am, many parents did not take admission for their child in nursery or any formal school per se, right? For the coming academic session, thinking the pandemic might prolong. So if they think that this situation prolongs and they can skip, because I came across personally this question that can we skip the nursery because it's a foundation class. So parent may consider this can go prolong and this may go for next academic session. So what is your message for the parent? Because like Nandini ma'am also spoke, that there should be no learning gap among students. Each child is different and teachers can pay more attention than a parent when it comes to impart education and learning. So ma'am, what is your message for those parents who are thinking this that the pandemic can go prolong and they may skip the foundation classes?
We need to understand skipping any class will not yield any result.
Right.
Each and every class has importance. You cannot say that let my child not study in class nursery and only directly reach KG. So,
Right.
in the same lines, another parent might think that let my child not study class 4 and let him reach class 5 after class 3. Why
Mhm.
classes are being made? Why this demarcation? Because we have a different design, curriculum,
Right.
uh, it's a complete set of academic year, set of 12 months we plan for each class. So how can you take it so lightly, not teaching in one class, one in the entire session? You are
Mhm.
missing out. What a nursery child studies, we are not teaching that to KG child, because we
Right.
uh, assume the child knows certain things when he comes to KG or prep class.
Mhm.
So child has to have a base, and it is for every class. You cannot
Right.
have directly ninth and taking the child to class 11. Nothing, each and every class, all 14 years of education are important. You cannot skip a class, but yes, you feel that the child is not comfortable. I also feel, we as a head of institution feel, making a nursery child sit in front of the laptop or mobile and make the child study is very tough for the teachers, for the parents, because parents tell the moment mother goes away, the child runs away during nursery,
Right.
KG, class 1, these three classes. Here comes the role of the parents. They
Right.
have to ensure education. See, education is a school's responsibility, but it is not only school's responsibility, as it is during primary years, early childhood education years. Parents play a pivotal role. So they have to play during online classes as well. But yes, if they feel that we don't have a 4 hours or 4 hours of timetable for junior classes, we just used to have 2 hours timetable, or some days even 1.5 hours just to make them sit. We need to understand teaching doesn't mean writing ABC or writing 1 to 10. That is just one part which we can cover in last 2 3 months. Also, let me tell you, teaching means how to speak, how to conduct yourself in nursery class, because the child is coming to the school for the first time. The
Right.
child needs to sit, the child needs to hold crayon, the child needs to go out for some purpose, walk in a line and sing, recite, read, whatever, speak. So all those things were going on during online classes. We
Right.
didn't miss even a single activity. Let it be thumb printing, let it be cotton printing, or whatever the teachers, origami and recitation, poem competition, whatever was happening, it was happening. All the activities which were planned uh, in the planner for one complete session, they were happening, though in online mode. So we understand the child will not be able to take 100% out of it. We agree to this. Even if the child is able to take 60%, your child is little more educated than he was. You have
Right.
to understand, even if the child takes 60%, let me share, there are parents who go extra mile. Even after this 10 to 12 timing of nursery, KG and first goes, they
Mhm.
still teach their children. They make them write by themselves. So it's all parents, how much effort, how much a parent is ready to put in. But missing a class is totally no excuse that due to pandemic, we are planning to skip a class.
Right.
Every class in the academic session holds a meaning, has
Right.
a set of curriculum, has a set of uh, we plan everything. So you just can't ignore.
Right.
If we start doing this way, then the whole education system will shut it down. It will come down. So let
Right.
the children be a part of the studies which is going on in nursery or even KG. Let them study and then gradually move to the next class. It
Right.
helps.
So
And child going directly to KG class or prep class will have a big tough time.
I'm sure there'll be some learning gap here, like you rightly
Yes,
mentioned, that
lot
every
of them.
class holds an important role in the child's entire education life cycle, right? And you rightly mentioned the component which in where teachers work and how school plan it, and every class is important for a kid. So with respect to education, that is okay. But I'll now come to Nandini ma'am. Ma'am, even what should be the parameter that a parent should decide for a best fit for their children, right? When it comes to nursery admission, of course, there's a question by a parent
Yeah,
also,
question.
right? Indu ma'am was though typing that question I could see while I was talking to you, but I'll
Then I
take.
thought we will discuss it out if the
Yes, so
parent
I
is
will
still
first
there.
take the Nandini ma'am's view, and then I'll come to Indu ma'am and will ask her view too on this question, because it's a very subjective question, right?
Yeah, very
So
normal.
I may want.
It's a question which is there in every parent's mind when they want their child to be admitted
Right,
in a school, because every parent wants their children to be well educated.
right.
They want the child to be a wholesome personality,
Mhm.
where the child is able to just face this world in a best possible manner, because school is nothing but it's a platform where you are built up for the future, where
Right.
you are skilled for living a fruitful life. School is a platform where you will find that everything that happens in the school is making your a student a better human being, a person who is capable of handling the vagaries of life and who is able to take things into his stride. That is what school is all about, and develop skills which are important in today's world.
Right.
So for me, if admission is there, so first of all, parents should think about that what kind of education do they want?
Right.
Is it very important thing is the basics should be very strong. The foundation has to be very strong.
Right.
It is not on the face value of a school that you should select this.
Right.
What the climate of the school is, what the environment of the school is, the kind of children, the kind of disposition the children hold,
Right.
the expressions, their way of behaving, talking, that is the reflection of the school.
Right.
How disciplined they are. So school is a wholesome place which every day strives to become better.
Right.
So one thing is that as you enter the school, what is that you feel? How vibrant the school is? Is it a dull place or it is a liveful place? What feelings are coming to your mind? That is the first step in coming to a school. Then you need to look at the infrastructure of the school, the safety and security of the school, the teachers. You need to interact with the teachers, how the teachers are, what is their proficiency. You can't judge their proficiency, but the way they will handle you, that will itself reflect that what is their affinity with education. Because teachers are basically the most passionate persons you can find on earth as far as the students are concerned. So the way they communicate with you, the way they talk to you will reflect their story, that what is their take on the school as such.
Right.
Apart from that, the physical aspect of the school. Now, a school, this is my personal opinion, and it is not going to be everybody's opinion, which I would like
I
to share.
rightly said this is a very subjective question.
According to my personal opinion, I want school to look like a school. It should not look like a 5-star hotel, a dome, or something. It should give a feeling of a class.
Right.
It should have low and high both things, because you are not inside the school, you are keeping all those parameters in mind. But when the child goes out and faces the real world, then the stark comparison that comes, children are unable to handle that.
Right.
So sometimes let them feel, sometimes have that kind of the AC is not working, or maybe the water, these are very petty issues which should not be the consideration. The consideration is the overall environment. How happy the child is, what the school is doing for the children. So little things can be set aside. And I'll give you an example over here. My husband is from Sindhya school, so we went to Sindhya school. So all these boys know, they said, "Ki now we want the school to change, and we'll do this, we'll do that." So the principal of the school came. Well, I cannot let the old go. I want the school to have the same structure. If you want to add something to the school, you take another area. It's a huge area. You take up another area and do whatever you feel like, contribute and do. We can do it there. But I will not change the old structure of the school. So whatever, जो विद्या है ना, विद्या को विद्या ही रहने दो. उसमें simplicity है. उसमें आत्मनिर्भरता है. उसमें एक अंदर की feeling है. एक विद्यार्थी और टीचर और एक स्टूडेंट का एक रिलेशन है, उसको हम ना टच करें तो ज्यादा अच्छा है. जब हम टीचर को डिक्टेट करने लगते हैं तो वहीं पर हमारा टीचर का डिस्कनेक्ट हो जाता है. टीचर को टीचर का, मतलब उसको जैसे पुराने जमाने में होता था, वो चीज आनी बहुत जरूरी है, क्योंकि लाइफ हैज बिकम वेरी सिंथेटिक,
राइट,
life has become very complex, and there is a very thin line between every right and wrong.
राइट,
And that depends on a financial structure, that depends on a kind of a society that live in, the kind of neighborhood that we have, the kind of peer the child has, the kind of relatives we have. All these things actually, kahin na kahin, they create prejudices in our mind. They change our perspectives. Let education be like education.
right. So
Usko,
you mentioned a lot on this question, right? So I will just, if you don't mind, I'll quickly take the view of Indu ma'am.
yes, sure,
Because,
sure.
right, because ma'am ने काफी important बातें बोली, which is, when I can in fact relate my school time, that Guru Shishya Parampara, and less of modernization, less, we can't even think of having AC in our time into the classroom and having modern infrastructure. And even at that time, our parents, or let's say we as a student, we were not thinking about all these parameters. But now parents talk particularly about parameters, right? So हमने एक बहुत broader vision की बात करी, वो vision था. But आज की डेट में जब parent parameter की बात करता है, इंदु मैम, so what should be that, ma'am?
When the parent has to enter the school, the parent should have a clear checklist of what he wants. He wants a 5-star hotel. He wants everything easy for the child. Let the parent decide first what he wants, he or she wants. Then you enter the school. Again, the ambience of the school is very important, talking to the teachers.
Right.
Make up your mind after taking a round of the school, because in one go, you will understand the psyche of the school.
Right.
How child friendly the school is, how rigid the school is. And second thing, parent has to understand, first thing for nursery class, I'll say will be the distance. Please go to the school which is closer to your home. And nowadays, having a good school is not a issue. The issue, you will have schools nearby. And just a second.
Yeah.
Where is this girl? So, having a school nearby is a very comfort zone or something. Your child doesn't have to travel such a long kilometers and long distance. Other thing is that the activities, and how good the child is doing the activities, and what all is going on. Curriculum, see, go through the annual planner. What the school, what the teachers have planned for your children for the entire year. Are you okay with it, or do you want something else? Or are you looking for a school which has less of that? So these are the certain issues. But again, I'll come back. Schools, all the schools provide good education. Let's be very clear on this. Once we form a school, we start a school, the whole purpose is the imparting education. So major thing is trusting the school system. Once you get your child admitted to a school, stop comparing to other schools. Ma'am, इस school में तो इतना ये हो गया, ये वाले इतना हिंदी के chapters हो गए, इस school में तो ऐसे पढ़ाते हैं. Trust the school system. When a school is opened, or when a school is started, good educated people are given the charge of the school, and good teachers are hired. So stop comparing, start trusting the school system. You should understand, once you send your child for 3 hours, 4 hours, 8 hours, 6 hours, the child is going to be with us. We are going to take care of your child, ensure a good education. And also, whichever school you choose, whatever your parameters are, we are not, that's totally your perspective, your mindset. Once you choose the school, do not try to run the school. Okay. Right. This has become now a habit that parents intervene, they interfere in the working of the school. Is din chutti kar do, is din kar do, Saturdays half. I mean, they keep on telling. Again, we have to understand that the head of the institutions, teachers, everybody is aware that how to run the school. So trust the system, and have your own checklist, what you want from a school. come to the school, see if every parameter is met. If there are some discrepancies, talk to the institution about it. Once you make up your mind, only then you admit the child. And once you admit the child, again, I'll come back. You need to have a trust.
Trust.
14 years, we are going.
Right, right. So in
Trust
fact,
the
like
school,
you
love
rightly
the
say,
school, and yes, love the school where your child is
Yes, you
going.
should love. You
Get
should not say
connected. I think connection is very important of the
very
parents.
important.
And
Don't
connect in a
criticize.
positive manner, very
Yes,
positive
don't
manner. And if
criticize.
you have a
Give
suggestion, that should be given.
right,
Suggestion
feedback and
बिल्कुल देना चाहिए
suggestions
अगर
are
कुछ
very
हाँ.
different from criticizing the school in groups in front of your child and others. Don't criticize. It's your school. I tell all the parents.
Especially the WhatsApp messages.
I know, and those society groups where हमारा तो पूरे society में group. See, you pay. I tell the parents, you pay and we get the salary. So you are the major stakeholders. So don't criticism will not help you anyway, because if you are criticizing one school, you will definitely criticize B, C, D, any other school wherever you will go. It has to be a very healthy relationship where you have to entrust the system and give your feedback. Be a part of the system. Never feel detached from the system. All the principals now I have seen in this generation, in our times, are very approachable. All the principals are approachable. So talk to them, get your issues resolved, give your healthy feedback, and help us to make up a good institution in the long run.
So what I could actually learn from this, that a parent should have a checklist. They should, once they take the decision, they should trust the system, and they should feel that essence, like Nandini ma'am mentioned, they should have that essence of student-teacher relationship and a school and education per se, right? Then more like a modern facilities, or they should more focus on education and the vibrance of a place, right, where they can actually see their child growing.
See, Ritesh, I have a point. See, all the schools are modern. All the infrastructure are to the point. And every infrastructure has its own value. And most of the schools, I think every school is AC now. Best of the facility the school wants to give. ये तो मुझे लगता है हर एक स्कूल करना चाहता है जो ग्रोथ फैक्टर है. लेकिन हमारे को मतलब हम कंपेयर जब करते हैं ना, तो अब हर एक घर दूसरे घर से डिफरेंट होता है. तो ये तो स्कूल है. School की philosophy, school का vision is very important. And I think the parents should get connected to the school. Then they will feel. I've seen in olden times, I mean to say, even during our times, how well we are connected with the teachers, with the school, the respect we have till now. So I want the same thing in the children of today also.
Right, right. So with this, actually, we could learn a lot today, ma'am. And I would like to thank you, both of you, for sparing your time and, giving valuable insight on how now we are pushing, and the entire education ecosystem is pushing for student to back to school, so that parent can be more motivated, and children's too, right, to come to school. And of course, what should be the parameter, and how parents should decode this complex admission process and make it easy for them, right? Because school, of course, they will have everything on their platter and they must be communicating to the parent, but how parents should pick up, you very well mentioned in this conversation. So I would like to pay my sincere thanks to both of you and all the viewers who participated here on directly on Zoom and on the Facebook Live. So parents, you can in fact go to our social media handles. You can subscribe our YouTube channel, where you can see all such videos, right? And you can like our Facebook page and follow our Instagram, so that you can have all the updates. And UniApply will keep bringing such webinar, will bringing such great leaders of school who can share their insightful experience, which can help you to take a call and even decide on the critical issues, like how schools are actually coping up with the situation, and they are bringing things back to normal for your kids, so that there can be a great education for your kid. And of course, the worry of education can be taken care by the educational leader. So with this, I would like to thank you again, Indu ma'am and Nandini ma'am, and wish you a very healthy and happy academic session, and good time ahead, ma'am.
Thank you, Ritesh. It was our pleasure to thank you, Indu Sharma, ma'am.
Yeah, nice.
It was nice meeting you and listening to you. Thank you all.
Okay,
Thank you, and
bye.
God bless you all.
Yeah.